after that 2008, it went so fast because he totally grabbed me like his little brother. You see what I mean? Kelly took me like his little brother. Though I recall times he would ask me questions. How's your family back home? So he would ask me personal questions about my family. Your family, how many people in your family? How many kids your mom had, and things like that. So we became like, we'll go to the gym. He will take me with him, and I would have his bag. I would always have his bag, his jewelry, his thing with me. And some of the people around us, around him, hated that. They didn't like it. So I mean, and after that, in early 2009, so I was going through that was the time I couldn't, I had like a balance at school, so I couldn't go back to school the next semester, the next year. And I'm like, I'm gonna take a break or whatever, and I'm just gonna work and just have fun and try to make some money so I can go back to school. And then at the parties, not at the parties, because I used to not at the parties. I used to come also during barbecue times, during the day barbecue, and I would talk to him. He's like, John, how's your school going? He was always concerned about my life. I was like, school is good and whatever, but I'm not going to school this year because I got to work and just find some money and go back to school. And he's like, okay, what are you doing this year? I'm like, I'm not doing anything. And I'm like, by the way, I want to ask you if I can jump on a tour with you. And he's like, you know what? Yes, come on. Yeah, he asked Tom, the manager, put him on, so he's on a tour. He's going on a tour with us. And that's when in 2009, I think, September 2009, I jumped on a tour with them, Ladies Make Some Noise tour. So we started going on the tour, and I think a week on our road, and we are at the gym, and we were talking, and he asking me questions. You want to go back to school next year? I'm like, yeah, King, because I call him King R&B, King of R&B.
Yeah.
But I want to go back to school and things like that because my mom is worried and everything. So I wish I could, I'm gonna make some money or whatever and things. And he's like, okay, you want to work? I'm like, yeah, I can. If I can do something on tour, I will do it. He's like, okay, you're gonna be my assistant.
Okay.
Which means you're gonna be with the manager. Wherever I do, wherever I go, you will be with me. Okay. So meaning that there was the manager and there was me. Okay.
Who was the manager at the time?
The manager at the time was a white guy, Tom. His name is Tom. I remember Tom. So, and we were every day together, Tom and I. And he told Tom, I want you to teach John everything. Whatever you do, show him. So I mean, I think I saw it kind of like, maybe he's got some visions for me and everything. And he told Tom, I want you to do something. Get with John and call his school, ask them. That's what amazes me until today. I will never forget it. Forget it. I will never forget what Rob did for me. He told Tom, call his school, whatever balance he has, because he has to go back to school next year. Oh. Whatever balance he has over there, call his school, and I'm gonna pay for it. We pay for it.
Aww.
I swear, on the death of my parents, he paid off my school, the balance that I had. He paid off the balance that I had. That's how good it is. See what I mean? And for me to hear my family's calling me, whatever, what is this going through, or whatever. I'm like, no, he's gonna be okay. He's gonna be okay. And I went to him, and sometimes I go to like even a month ago, I went to Sam, and we were talking like, King, it's gonna be okay. I'm here. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. I'm always around trying to tell him it's gonna be okay.
That's good.
Yes, and yes, he paid, and I was like, oh my God, really, King? He's like, yes, no, that's not no deal, man. You gotta go back, do that shit, but make sure you finish that school. You see what I mean? And yes, and we went on tour, and yes, and Tom did the thing, paid off my balance that I owed in school, and a part of that, I'm always thinking about it.
multiple attorneys representing R. Kelly, who's facing multiple charges in several states. Attorney Leonard, thank you again. So let's jump right in. Mr. Kelly, as we all know him as is R. Kelly, he was in court in New York federal courtroom Thursday, and we understand you joined by phone from Chicago. Why do you think, or better yet, why was R. Kelly's bond denied? And did Judge Ann Donnelly give a reason? If so, what was it?
Yeah, well, it was interesting. It was kind of a bond hearing that wasn't. It was sort of extraordinary from that standpoint. Traditionally in a federal court bond hearing, you spend your time arguing about why the person is not a flight risk and why they're not a danger to the community. This took on a different tenor because the reasons cited by counsel for the bond were issues that the judge was concerned about and really wanted to address with the counsel who filed the motion to make sure that he was really sort of serious about what he was saying. And, she sort of started out by questioning him about whether he was really serious that he believed the MCC Chicago had been eavesdropping on his FaceTime meetings with counsel and his in-person meetings. And so because that's a real serious issue. If it were true, you could get a case dismissed. And, when that happens at any jail, anywhere, that's, cause for alarm and cause for overturning, hundreds of cases. So she was sort of taken aback by that allegation. And, really the only response that the counsel had was that my other attorney, Ms. Blank Becker, told me that she thought it was true. And really, obviously, the judge was not pleased because if it were true, it would be something that would lead to criminal charges and that sort of thing. And then the other issue.
Who would face criminal charges, Attorney Leonard, if it were true?
Oh, yeah. Well, if a jail or prison was tape recording meetings between attorneys and defendants or FaceTime meetings, they would be clearly federally prosecuted for doing that. So it's an extraordinary thing that really almost never happens. And if you want to make an allegation like that, you better make sure that it's true. And that's kind of what the judge was pointing out to the attorney.
Got it. Okay. We also know that the judge also kept that August 9th court date, which gives the new attorneys very little time, as we discussed yesterday. I think the word we were trying to pronounce was Herculean efforts to get up to speed. See, I came back strong today. I got it right.
You did. You did. Were you practicing?
We both practice, exactly.
Yeah.
So now they literally have to race to get up to speed, but they did push back opening statements. Does this help his new defense team prepare now? And will you be joining? We also know that you requested to be removed from the case, you and attorney Steve Greenberg.
Well, we won't be joining, but keep in mind, up until a couple weeks ago, you keep characterizing them as a new defense team, but Mr. Farinella, Ms. Blank Becker, they've been involved for more than a year, maybe a year and a half. So they were participants in all the FaceTime calls 3 times a week with Mr. Kelly, and they had the opportunity, if they wanted to go meet with him in person in Chicago. So they're really not new to the case at all. They've been with the case, since really almost its inception. The only new person is the trial lawyer that the 2 remaining lawyers brought in a trial lawyer because, as we've talked about, they just don't have federal criminal trial experience at all. So they brought in Mr. Kanek to essentially try the case. So we won't be joining that team. And, I think next week when the judge finishes what we talked about a couple times, this Curcio hearing, then she will allow our motion to withdraw. But as we talked about previously, it's a procedural step. She can't let us out until she vets with Mr. Kelly in court to his face whatever conflicts might exist with Ms. Blank Becker, and also give his court-appointed counsel from New York the chance to meet with Mr. Kelly in person and explain those potential conflicts to him, which I understand that meeting is taking place today.
Now, you mentioned if a jail, was recording. Let me start over. Mr. Kelly assumed, or he felt, that someone was listening to his conversations. Now with the judge saying that they can essentially meet every single day. Do you think that will happen? And does that still run the risk of him not feeling comfortable being open and honest, and better yet, transparent with his legal team while still meeting in jail?
Well, just keep in mind, it wasn't Mr. Kelly that thought his meetings or calls were being recorded. I mean, I was on dozens of those calls, right? And I also met with him in person. I had no belief ever that they were being recorded. Okay, what happened was an investigator from suburban New York went to the jail He had never been to the MCC Chicago in his whole life. And that was in like May, right? And he saw there was like kind of a box on the wall in the attorney meeting room, which in days of yesteryear, they used that to have cameras so that, you know, people could appear in court by video. And they don't use that anymore. There's no cameras in those boxes, right? But the investigator who was unfamiliar with the facility assumed that, oh, wow, you know, maybe they have the capacity to tape us, which they don't, and they would never do because it would be incredibly stupid. It would be the quickest means to get a case dismissed in federal court that you can possibly imagine, and all the guards at the jail would get federally prosecuted. So there's no concern that he was being taped in Chicago, and obviously all four of the attorneys were involved in all those FaceTime calls. There was no taping going on, and it wasn't really Mr. Kelly that brought the concern forward. It was that investigator who was just unfamiliar with the workings of Chicago MCC. Likewise, now Mr. Kelly is in the MCC in New York, in Brooklyn. There's no possibility that they're going to try to tape his meetings with the lawyers. That will never happen. And again, if it did, the attorneys would probably welcome it because they'd get the case dismissed immediately. So there's no concern there. And the good thing is Mr. Kanek, the new trial lawyer, will have the chance, if he wants, to meet with Rkelly, you know, every day of the week, including Saturday or Sunday, 8 hours a day. But, you know, realistically, of course, he's not going to spend all his time doing that. When you're preparing for trial, you're going to be keenly focused on, you know, developing your cross-examinations and getting ready for trial in that respect. But it is good that the judge is entering an order requiring that facility in Brooklyn to give them essentially unfettered access to Mr. Kelly. But remember, the other two attorneys have had that kind of access for a year. But it's important for Mr. Kanek, who's really going to try the case, to have that access to get the relationship with Robert Kelly going, to understand Robert's insight into all these witnesses who are going to testify against him. So it's extremely important that Mr. Kanek have that time with Rkelly, and it'll be quite useful.
Attorney Leonard, yes or no? We know you're going to be removed from this case, but he has other cases as well. Will you be representing him in those cases?
That's something we're still talking about. So we don't have a decision on that. We're taking that under advisement, and we're not worried about that right now. The biggest thing for Robert is this case in New York, which is a winnable case. It's based upon a strange legal theory that doesn't fit Rkelly's band, which is called the RICO statute. So this should be the focus, this case, winning this case, and not worrying about anything else.
Got it. Attorney Leonard, thank you for joining us on BNC. We appreciate you.
I see what you're doing for Big Bro. Keep going, man. Free Rkelly too, man. Put that on my live. Free Kales, man. Free Big Bro. He'll be out of there soon. They ain't got nothing on him. Y'all seeing the magic transpire. So when y'all see this on 9 Mag, on Black Ink Chicago, seen it here first. Oh yeah. Mikey Jets. See cheeks. Love Mike, bro. You got to come through there, bro. You already know you got to bless the spot. Appreciate you, family. Y'all want to see cheeks? Or y'all want to see camera rolling? Let me know what y'all want. Free Rob. They owe him an apology, man. They gonna owe him a big apology. Y'all let the internet send y'all off. Cheeks it is. Yeah, they back together, baby girl. Yeah. They back together. Hey, y'all ain't realized music ain't been the same? The music game ain't been the same. What's up, Alexis?
You'll be looking too hard. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about. Like you'll look, that's what you want to do. Sure, you ain't got nothing to do with it.
Kale's got so many records. He could have dropped an album every month since he been gone, and y'all ain't heard it. All he do is make music. Every single day he made a song. I seen him make a song probably every day for 10 years straight. So that's how many records he got. I'm blessed. They trying to break him, but they don't realize that he ain't like other celebrities. He's street. It's hard to break real, you know? It's hard to break real. They tried us all. They can't do it. Straight up, Keisha. I already know it. Ain't too many of them on the internet though, boy. It's crazy. Jazzy Jazz, you said it. You can survive Chi-Town, you can survive anything. You know we worldwide. Anywhere I go, it's a breeze. I hear you, nephew. I'm gonna go live next when I'm at my spot, man. Y'all gotta see the inside of Gumbo Art if y'all didn't make the grand opening. It's super dope. I worked on it for 10 months now. It took me 10 months to get it to look like it looked. I didn't post or nothing. I just was on something, you know. Only like close family knew that what I was doing. I just wanted to just get my vision off the ground without trying to post it, and you know, we real, man. We don't post everything. We just do it. I love my city, man. I've been all over. I got to get back to shop, man. Every time I'm going along. Ain't nothing like it. JB, love you, family. Come on back, man. Know I got how you bless the shop. I don't even want to do a tat in there yet unless you walk in. Yeah, this on the rooftop of Lacuna. They filming their first episode. My magician, George, you know. I hired George when All-Star Weekend was in Chicago. When me and Jabba had the spot at Bureau Bar, we hired George. His magic was so unbelievable. And just from there, I just started plugging him with everybody, man. Because you know if he blew my mind, I knew he can blow anybody's mind with that magic. So now they want him to come and do something on their show. And it's total coincidence, though. Ryan came to my grand opening and they invited me out. Keisha, I swear, I'm finna get the magic trick. Well, JB, you know, being mentored by guys like yourself, you give me good direction, bro. I just know how to follow orders. Keep it humble, keep it real, and we can't lose. You already know I got mad love for you, bro. You know I was looking for you during the grand opening. I knew you was gone. I'm like, if JB ain't here, he out of town. Okay, my bro. Look, George over there blowing their mind on camera now. I knew it.
It's all about him. We done. It's over.
He said the show about him is over with. George owed me his first check. No, family, you was there in spirit, bro. I stood in your place, bro. I promise you that. You ain't got to be there, man. I know the love. Let me go and stand over here so y'all can see me on TV. Hold up. Yeah, I'm scared of him, man. I'm scared of that, bro. I be telling him, bro, I'm scared of him.
When I can't figure out what's going on in anything in life, I'm moving the fuck around.
You a smart man. That's how we survive this city.
This motherfucker doing car tricks. I ain't never seen one like this. She had a car in her shoe, take her shoe off.
JB, I hear you. That's why
Once again, free Robert Sylvester Kelly. And August 6th and August 7th, Daddy Lolo will be holding a march going to Sony and Lifetime to bring awareness for Robert Sylvester Kelly, which will be on a Friday and a Saturday. Hope everybody can make it. I will try to put the time and the colors for the shirts for Friday and Saturday in my next video. But stop listening to the rumors that you hear about Daddy Lolo this, Daddy Lolo that. And also shout out to Bubba Rubrics for putting out the truth. Same thing that we're all saying. All this stuff about Robert Sylvester Kelly is negativity, and negativity sells, lies sell, false narratives sell. So when you keep hearing these things, try to avoid it, because they will do anything and say anything to try to tear Robert Sylvester Kelly's name down. Also, people that really support him and that's really stamping, doing positive stuff for him, they will try to sabotage it, and they will talk down on these individuals, because in all reality, they are doing nothing for Robert Sylvester Kelly. It's not about nobody bragging about what they do for Robert, but at the end of the day, you give credit where it's due, especially for people that has families, jobs, and things outside of this case, but willing to put time in and take time out of work, their families, their jobs, to do things for Robert Sylvester Kelly. So let's make that very clear. It's not a lot of people who can put their time aside and take off work, lose money. It's a lot of us that's not monetized, who's not making no money off this YouTube. Maybe they get a couple donations, but it's a lot of us that put more out than we receive. So again, stop listening to the narratives. Daddy Lolo is doing a very good thing. And of course, you got people that want to sabotage it because they don't want to see nothing good come for Robert Sylvester Kelly. This march from August 6th to August 7th is a very good thing for Robert. Period. Point blank. Anything that's bringing awareness and where people get to speak their truth about how they feel about Robert and to show their support, that is a plus. So anybody sabotaging it or talking down on it, now you think, are they really for Robert Sylvester Kelly? Because who would sabotage a march to bring awareness for Robert right before his trial?